So the Steelseries Arctis Nova 7 are currently my preferred gaming headset because they have a very solid construction, they sound great, and they fit very well. And as someone who's primarily an Xbox gamer, I really like them because they're simply just plug and play. However, if you're someone that's really into gaming, maybe you like to constantly switch between your Xbox to your PlayStation, or your console to your PC, or maybe you just want more features, then you might be interested in the Steelseries Arctis Nova Pro. And even if you're a gamer that's not constantly switching between consoles, you might be interested in their active noise cancellation, ambient mode, or maybe even their hot swappable batteries.
Now, when it comes to pricing, the Arctis Nova Pro wireless retails for $350. However, there are multiple versions of this headset. The PC and PlayStation versions are going to allow you to connect this headset to your PC, PlayStation, Switch, or phone. But the Xbox version is going to allow you to connect to your Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Switch, or phone. So for maximum compatibility, I do recommend that you go for the Xbox version. Nonetheless, if you want to pick this headset up, it'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch shelf down below. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know I can be very particular. So I'll only set my name on something that I'm really proud of. Now first, let's talk about the headset itself. The Pro looks and feels basically identical to the Nova 7s. The headset itself has hard plastic ear cups and plastic arms, which are a little hard to pull out of the headband. We've got a large steel headband, which has a hit of soft touch silicone underneath. We've got a suspension style headband, which is great for comfort because hotspots are not an issue whatsoever. And the ear cups themselves are covered in very supple feeling leatherette. And this is the main physical difference between the Nova 7s and the Nova Pro, because the Nova 7s come included with fabric ear pads, making them more breathable, and it helps them stay cooler for much longer. Whereas the leatherette ear pads on the Pros, these can get a little hot and a little sweaty after a long gaming session. However, the leatherette on these ear pads does help this headset passively block out more noise than the fabric ear pads found on the Nova 7s. But regardless, fit-wise, both of these headsets fit very well. Clamping force-wise, these headsets do have a firmer fit to them out of the box, but after a while, they do break in, so I will say that these are big head approved. The suspension style headband on these headsets never cause any hotspots on the top of your head, and the ear pads on both of these headsets are fairly spacious. So they aren't going to have any problem fitting most ear types, and even if you have very large ears or ears that stick out a lot, they should be able to fit you just fine. However, I do have two main critiques about these headsets when it comes to fit. First off, there's the pressure from the ear cups. I can't help but feel that these ear cups apply a little more pressure on the top of your ear than on the bottom. Now, this isn't a deal breaker and you do forget about it after a while, but I do feel that this is an area that could be improved. But more importantly, I do have to point out that the Pros are a little on the heavier side, weighing in at 338 grams. So with this headset, you never really forget that you're wearing it, like with, let's say, the Steelseries Arctis ones, which have been my favorite headset for a while, or like how you can with a pair of premium ANC headphones. And the Nova 7s aren't all that much lighter either, weighing in at 325 grams. But the Nova Pros and Nova 7s do a really good job of compensating for their extra weight thanks to their suspension headband. The suspension headband does a really good job of evenly dispersing the headset's weight, making its heavier weight less of a problem.
However, the Arctis Nova Pros are on the heavier side because they have this exposed steel headband and they're using rather heavy plastics. So personally, I do feel that this headset is going to be able to take a fair amount of abuse. And personally, I do feel that durability is something that you do want to take into consideration when looking at a headset, because unfortunately things happen when you're gaming, especially if you solo queue Apex like I do. But overall, I do like the design, build, and fit of this headset. This headset is very durable and it fits very well, and it has a very subtle design to it. So if you do decide to use this headset as a normal pair of headphones out in public, you're not going to stick out like a sore thumb. And personally, I really like the fully retractable microphone on this headset because when you put it away, it completely disappears. But now let's talk about tech specs. Regarding battery life, this headset has an advertised battery life of 44 hours, which is impressive. But that's with the active noise cancellation on this headset turned off, and that's while this headset is only connected to your console. console. Because with this headset, it can be connected to your console and phone via Bluetooth simultaneously. But if you do that, then you're going to have an advertised battery life of 36 hours. But also, this advertised battery life of 44 hours and 36 hours is between the two included batteries that come with this headset. So technically, each battery is good for a maximum of 22 hours. But still, this is a very cool feature because you can easily remove one battery and you can easily hot swap the other battery. So technically, this headset will never run out of battery on you in the middle of the game. The only thing that you got to keep in mind here is if you want to hot swap your batteries, as in your headset isn't going to power off, you got to do the switch in less than 8 seconds. Now, when it comes to actually charging this headset, there is a USB-C port hidden underneath one of these magnetic plates, and through here, this is how you charge the battery that's inside the headset. And in order to charge your other battery, there's a charger built into the base station, which is something that we'll talk about in a minute. But overall, this is a very cool feature, and it could be one of the reasons why you want to go with the Arctis Nova Pros over the Arctis Nova 7s. However, just keep in mind that the 7s do have an advertised battery life of 38 hours and 26 hours, and these also have better fast charging numbers, because if you were to charge this headset up for 15 minutes from a dead battery, you're going to get 6 hours of playtime, whereas with the Arctis Nova Pros, since they do have a smaller built-in battery, if you charge them up for 15 minutes, you're only going to get 3 hours of playtime. But nonetheless, with both of these headsets, you can always use them with a wired connection and use them passively because they both still have 3.5mm audio jacks. And with both of these headsets, if you have a long enough USB-C cable, you can use them wirelessly with your console while you're charging. But now let's talk about connectivity. Now, this headset comes included with a base station, and this base station has 2 USB-C ports on it, meaning that you can connect it either to 2 consoles or to a console and a PC. So maybe you're like me and you have an Xbox and a PlayStation, or maybe you have a console and a PC, or maybe you have 2 PCs. I don't know what you got. Anyways, this base station does have an audio out jack on it on the back, so you can always connect this base station to a pair of speakers, or you can always connect this base station to your PC and you can stream with it as well. Now, from a connectivity standpoint, connectivity is great. This headset connects to the base station every single time that I power it on. Latency is never an issue and the connection never cuts out. However, very important here, if you want to be able to use this headset with both an Xbox and PlayStation, you have to remember to get the Xbox version of this headset, and you also have to remember to plug in your Xbox into USB-C port number 1. But like I mentioned earlier, this headset can be simultaneously connected to your phone via a Bluetooth connection, and you can have your phone's audio and your console's audio going at the same time. And this is great for someone who wants to listen to something while they're trying to grind out some XP points if they're playing in an RPG, or you can listen to something while you're in a matchmaking lobby if you're playing some FPS, or you can listen to something while you wait for your teammates to respawn you if you're playing some battle royale. Now, besides being able to simply switch between which source your audio is coming from and being able to adjust the volume of your headset, this base station also allows you to customize your headset. You can switch between EQ settings, you can customize your EQ, you can adjust your mic gain, and you can adjust the side tone of your microphone. And this is a big deal because unfortunately SteelSeries doesn't have any apps for consoles or phones. So you can't directly change the EQ of this headset directly from the console itself, like you can with the stock Xbox headset or the stock PlayStation headset, or how you can with Razer's headsets. And this is another reason why you might want to go with the Nova Pros over the Nova 7s, because if you're a console gamer like I am, and keep in mind this review is coming from the perspective of someone who's primarily a console gamer, if you want to adjust the EQ on this headset, or if you want to customize any of its settings really, you're gonna have to connect this headset to your PC and you're going to have to download the SteelSeries GG app. So personally, I do feel that the base station that comes included with the Pros is a good workaround, because with the Nova 7s, you're gonna have to plug it into your PC. But still, I really do feel that SteelSeries needs to make apps for consoles and your phone, so that you can more easily adjust the EQ settings on this headset. But definitely, if you're a PC gamer, then this is not an issue for you. But regardless, when it comes to sound, out of the box, this headset does have a very dynamic sound signature to it with a strong bass and elevated mid-highs. Overall, this headset sounds good and it has an impressive amount of instrument separation, making this headset sound open, and it gives you a good amount of immersiveness. But something that I do have to do with this headset and the Nova 7s is that I do have to go into their customizable EQ, and I do have to lower their highs and mid-highs so that this headset doesn't get ear-piercing when I fire my gun. Because personally, I do like to play a lot of Apex, so I do like to use my headset at a higher volume so that I can listen for those footsteps. But personally, I am a little scared sometimes to fire my gun because this headset can get a little ear-piercing sometimes. And unfortunately, this headset doesn't have a dynamic range compression options like with the Arctis One does. Now, there is a volume limiter, but if you want to be able to control exactly what gets amplified and what doesn't, then you'll want to use this headset for PC gaming, and you'll want to use the Steelseries Sonar app. But again, this review is coming from the perspective of someone who is strictly a console gamer. But with the sound out of the way, let's talk about the extra features found on the Arctis Nova Pros over the Nova 7s, and specifically, that's the active noise cancellation on this headset. Now, performance-wise, the active noise cancellation on this headset has zero hissing in the background, and there's very little cabin pressure as well. And overall, the ANC on this headset blocks out a decent amount of noise. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test. So like you may have just seen, the Nova Pros block out a decent amount of noise. Now, they don't block out as much noise as the Sony H9s, and they definitely don't block out as much noise as the Sony 1000XM5s, but they do block out a decent amount of noise, and they can definitely be helpful if you're gaming at home and your family is being loud. And if you decide to use this headset as a normal pair of headphones, they can definitely come in handy if you decide to use them on a bus, because they're going to help reduce some of that road noise, and they can also be useful if you're in a chatty cafeteria. But for 2023 standards, I would say the Arctis Nova Pros block out as much noise as a pair of mid-tier ANC headphones. But besides active noise cancellation, this headset also has an ambient mode, and the ambient mode on this headset sounds very natural. Now personally, I do feel that having an ambient mode on your headset can be very useful, because you can still be aware of your real world surroundings while you're gaming. Maybe you gotta keep an eye on a little one that might be playing in the next room, or maybe you're gaming in your bedroom and you just want to be aware if, let's say, your Uber Eats comes, or if your mom calls you for dinner.
But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, while in a quiet room, this microphone is very impressive. Now, this microphone does sound a little bright, but personally, I do like that because I do feel that a brighter sound signature is going to help your voice cut through your game's audio. And I also can't help but feel that the microphone found on the Arctis Nova Pro does a better job of isolating your voice while in a quiet room when compared to the Nova 7s.
But for comparison's sake, here's a microphone test with the stock Xbox headset. Now, personally, I feel that this microphone also sounds really good, but it doesn't sound as clear as with either the Nova Pro or Nova 7. And here's a microphone test with the Razer Camera Pro. Now, I feel that this microphone has a warmer sound signature to it, and my voice doesn't sound as clear as with the Arctis. But now here's a microphone test with the Razer Camera Pro, but this time we are running a low frequency sound in the background to simulate either having an AC running in the background or having a fan running in the background. Now this microphone does an okay job of blocking out the unwanted noise pollution, but I do feel that my voice does sound a little warmer this time around. Whereas with the Xbox headset, this headset is doing a really good job of reducing this noise pollution, all while still keeping my voice front and center. But the thing about this microphone is that if you're quiet for long enough, it is going to mute itself. So that way, if you're not saying anything, you're not going to be broadcasting any of your clicks from your gamepad or any of your typing from your keyboard. But then there's the Arctis Nova Pro. Now this microphone continues to sound amazing, but I do feel that this microphone does pick up a good amount of low frequency sound in the background. So I do feel that if you are going to game with this headset while on a console, you do want to be mindful of your noise pollution. Now this microphone does have AI powered noise cancellation, but this is a feature that you can really only use if you use this headset while on PC, and if you've got the Sonar app running, and if you've got the Clearcast feature running as well. So overall, if you do intend to use this headset mostly for console gaming, you do want to be mindful of your surrounding noise pollution.
But with all that being said, the Steelseries Arctis Nova Pro are a really impressive gaming headset whether you're a console gamer or a PC gamer. From a build quality standpoint, this headset is very durable, which I feel is important for a gaming headset. Sometimes things happen. The only drawback about this headset's great build quality is that it's a little on the heavier side, but they try to make up for it with their suspension style headband, which does a really good job of evenly dispersing this headset's weight. Now, besides sounding great, this headset also has some very impressive features to it that might compel you to upgrade from the Nova 7s. For starters, if you're someone that games on multiple consoles, then being able to switch between two sources super easy is very cool. And thanks to the base station, you can more easily adjust the EQ of this headset without having to plug it into your computer like you have to do with the Nova 7s. The swappable batteries on this headset are also very neat, and in theory, you will never run out of battery if you keep your second battery charged and if you're fast enough with your switches. The ANC on this headset can also help block out noisy neighbors while you're gaming, and the ANC can also help on your daily commute if you decide to use this headset as a pair of normal headphones. And finally, there's just the design. Personally, I really appreciate the subtle design of this headset. If you go out in public with them, you're not going to stick out like a sore thumb. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.